Is this Taboo?
Yeah.
Hey, how you doing, man? Thank you for...
I'm right here in Porto Alegre in
Really?
Brazil.
What time is it over there?
Right now it's about like 6 o'clock.
Wow. So let me ask you this: is this like the longest tour that Black Eyed Peas has ever been on? Because it seems like you guys are constantly touring.
Well, the thing about it is that we've been touring since 1998, which was our first record, Behind the Front. And you know, that's the claim to our success has been being able to travel around the world with or without a hit record. You know, we had Behind the Front, which sold 300,000 copies, but the fact is that we were able to travel to places like Europe, you know, places like Philippines and Vietnam, and actually have a stable market of being able to tour around the world.
Where were you born and raised?
I was born in East Los Angeles, California.
What part of East LA?
Boyle Heights.
Boyle Heights?
Boyle Heights.
Cool.
Yeah.
And all your life there?
No, I lived in East LA for like a couple of years, and then I moved to Rosemead, California.
Do you come from a big family? How many people are in your family?
You know what? My intermediate family is very small because a lot of my family is in Arizona. But you know, it's. I wouldn't say it's a big family. I would say it's more intermediate. It's a small family. It's not big at all. What
is your ethnic background? Because I know people always might question you a little bit, but I'd hear it from you officially.
I'm Mexican and Shoshone.
Were you raised with both cultures in your life?
Well, the thing about it is that I've always been raised in a Mexican community, which is East Los Angeles.
Yeah.
So the thing about it is that I never really had the opportunity to venture off and find out about my native culture, but I've always been in touch with it because of the fact that my grandmother had always taught me about, you know, representing both sides and never forgetting about where I came from. So I would have to say, you know, I spoke Spanish at home, and everything was based around the Mexican culture.
Recently I saw you like in an episode of, I think it was either American Latino or Latin Nation, one of the late night shows, and it was filmed at a car show, and it says during your interview you made it clear that you're Latino and not Asian. I guess you get asked that question a lot. And
you know, because a lot of times people think that I'm Filipino because the Apple is Filipino in the group. So they always confuse me for being Apple, I guess because my light skin or whatever.
Yeah.
And I always let it be known that, you know, I represent my Mexican culture, and you know, I may be in a group where it's very diverse, but at the forefront, the first thing that matters to me is representing my Latino heritage.
I saw that you raised up a little flag and you had your car over there and everything like that.
Yes, sir.
And that cleared up a lot for me. I mean, as a fan, I was like, oh, really? I had no idea. So I could appreciate that. Now I know a lot of people do too. It kind of clarified a lot of things. Now, do you participate in a lot of custom car shows?
No, that was actually my third car show that I attended throughout my career. The only reason I attended that car show is because my car was part of the whole the whole scene. But I'm not really into the whole car show thing. I'm more into martial arts. I like to go to a lot of martial arts conventions, more that style.
Are you trained in the martial arts? Do you have a certain
degree? I studied Jeet Kune Do when I was 12 years old. So I think that's another reason why people confuse me for being Asian, because I'm so influenced by martial arts.
How did you get started as a performer? Had you been performing since you were a kid?
Yeah, well, when I was 5 years old, I got into cumbias and salsa and merengue and rancheras, because, you know, growing up, going to quinceañeras and going to, you know, all these little house parties, that's all that I was exposed to. So I'd be like the center of attention by dancing. And then eventually I started getting into breakdancing in 1983 and started evolving into hip-hop.
I've seen, you know, I've been following you guys since the very beginning, since seeing the video of That's the Joint, That's the Jam, and you guys are all really skilled dancers. I mean, was it your dream to become be more known as a rapper or a dancer?
I would say just to become the ultimate performer, whether it was breakdancing or you know, rapping. I felt like evolution would take me to where I needed to be. You know, now I'm becoming a much better producer, songwriter, engineer. You know, it just keeps on evolving from, like, first it was wanting to battle everybody and wanting to be the best Latino to battle black people or Asians, whoever it was. I wanted to represent my culture and let people know that, you know, Latinos have soul and have rhythm as well.
Now, what kind of outlet does being an artist provide you? Is it more of an escape, or is it just kind of like a regular part of the daily life for you?
It's both, man, because it's an escape from, you know, if I'm having a bad day, if I'm going through problems with you know, sometimes you have relationship problems, and when I get on stage and I hear people sing my songs, it makes me feel, it compels me to you know, want to get to the next show. But it's also a daily duty. You know, like right now I'm at the mall. I'm I'm doing a phoner while I'm trying to eat. So it all coincides. You know what I mean? Because like we still got to do the business and do our job, but at the end of the day, I'm still trying to live a normal lifestyle by going to a mall and buying some food or buying some clothes or whatever. And sometimes, like right now, just talking to you on the phone, I've already been approached by like 10 people to
really.
And it's weird because I'm on the phone and they don't give me my space, but it's cool. It comes along with the job.
Well, that was one of the questions I was going to ask you, how you handle fame. So you've obviously kind of got a little system going where you can kind of phase some things out and then just kind of like be all at different places at one time.
I don't let the fame get to me.
Yeah.
I don't allow super whatever stardom, to get to me, because at the end of the day, I still got to go home to my mom, and she's gonna be like, "Mijo, you come home, you're still Jaime Gomez from East Los. You'll never be Taboo in my eyes because you're my son." And at the end of the day, I still eat menudo, I still eat carne asada, and that's grounded. You know what I mean?
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. I love that. Well, how did you meet Will and Apple? Because I know you came in the group when they had the Ruthless record thing, and then you came in after that.
Yeah, I met Will and Apple at that time period when they were signing Ruthless. As we met at a club called Ballistic, and that was in 1993. We were all in high school. They had their record deal, and I was just a dancer back then.
You guys are probably one of the only multi-ethnic groups, like especially in hip-hop, that have like just achieved this big superstar status. Do you think that's kind of giving you kind of like an ambassador-like status around the world? Because you guys go all over the world, not just in North America, South America. I mean, you guys are big everywhere.
Yeah, it's great because we're able to express our heritage and let people know that no matter what race, color, or creed, you're able to rock just as hard as everybody else. And that's the beauty of being diverse, is that at the end of the day, we don't ever have any, there's no expectations. You just shoot for the moon, man, and keep on moving. You never get pigeonholed into, oh, well, he's a Latin kid, he has to rap in Spanish all the time. Or that's the Asian kid, he has to, he has to do his whole rap in Tagalog. That's the beauty of being diverse.
There's definitely a big Latin influence in many of the songs, including like the collaboration with Sergio Mendes. Did you kind of push that a little bit to kind of bring that more into it? Because I mean, there's always like a Latin theme.
Well, I think it was more Will I Am, because Will's been producing. He's been working with Sergio Mendes for a long time, and Apple and Will have always been influenced by the old Brazil '66 records, from sampling to just being inspired by the musicianship. So it was just a natural progression.
Being in the spotlight, do you feel an obligation to be a positive role model to young Latinos and young Native Americans?
Not a role model, but just like an inspiration or an influence from going from mediocre success of knowing that at the end of the day I wanted to be at the forefront, and I just wanted to represent my culture. Do
you have any advice for upcoming Latino artists?
Don't ever let nobody tell you can't do it, dude, because a lot of times I was told like, hey, why you dancing like a black dude, fool? You're Mexican. And I'll be like, well, it's not about being black, it's about having skill and technique.
Yeah.
Or, hey, dog, why you doing that thing like a chino, eh? And I would be like, no, it's about skill and technique, and a lot of times as Latinos we get told that we can't do it because you're stepping outside of the race, but in actuality you're just showcasing your skill and technique.
With Fergie's new CD out, was that kind of like she came out, you guys might have been getting ready to take a break, and then was that a call for the piece to regroup and support her? Because I want to make sure that we mention Fergie, because she's definitely a big part of the group now too.
Fergie was a solo artist before she got into the group. So she was going to have a solo record with or without Black Eyed Peas.
Okay.
She chose to wait for a solo record to come out because she wanted Monkey Business to come out before before she stepped out. She didn't want to just get thrown out into the charts and then be forgotten. She wanted to build a brand with Black Eyed Peas and then branch out and do her thing.
Any message for your Bakersfield fans?
Yo, when we come to Bakersfield, it's gonna be crazy. My man Frankie J is gonna be opening up. Look out for Frankie J to be on my solo record. My solo record will be out next year. It's gonna be featuring some Spanish music. It's heavily influenced by people like Juanes, Alejandro Fernandez,
wow,
to people like Brazil '66. It's going to be highly Latin influence, so look out for that.
Well, thank you so much, man, and you guys be safe on tour, and we look forward to seeing you here in Bakersfield. Thank you for your time, bro.
All right, carnal.
All right, peace.
Gracias.